preparing. So, if you are joining us, welcome to my version of Mercury retrograde as we start our cosmic conversations. It's going to be not my normal because I am trying to get on my computer to get the internet. So, if you can see us, welcome to this week's Cosmic Conversations with Dr. Heather Harder. And I'm going to go ahead and let her talk. But welcome to this week's Cosmic Conversations.
There we go. And we're off to a interesting experience to start with, a little bit late because of Stacy's technical difficulties. We're hoping they're all ironed out and go back to normal.
Mom, if you can hang up your phone with me, you have a phone call.
Oh,
we're on.
That's okay.
Done.
Okay.
Thank you. Now I can be back on hold of Time Warner people.
Okay. So as I say, a bit of technical difficulties, and I think we're on the mend right now. So welcome to this conversation on February 4th, 2021. As always, Stacy keeps jumping around. She's making me, and I've got to see. And now today I've got to do everything myself. So Stacy must have let her in. Okay. Anyway, so welcome to today's conversation. Don't forget, on Thursdays we are a spiritual conscious living conversation about how to live our life more on point and in communion with the divine source. And then on Sundays we have a politics meets spirituality conversation. If you want to talk about current events and what's happening and all those from a sort of a different perspective, please join us. The Zoom number, we'll share the Zoom number later on, so have a paper and pencil available so you can write it down. Our Zoom number for the for tonight's call, if you want to join us live on Zoom, it's 428-733-218. And you're gonna see a shot of my belly right now, so we're gonna got to get the file. I hope that was interesting for you. The Zoom number for the politics is 831-755-38434. And again, we'll repeat that later on in case you need it. But please feel free to join us. Both are at 6 p.m. on at Central Time, and it's always interesting. The political one is not broadcast. We broadcast the beginning of it, and then it goes to a private conversation. So that one you can't join us on anything except Zoom. All right, with that, we always start our calls with a intention. Very important habit to develop. And my intention for this group is always threefold. I invite you to join me in this intention, and then you can add what other intentions you would like. But the first is truth. I want to be sharing truth. I want you to recognize truth. I want you to be able to integrate and use truth in your path forward. The second is protection. We are living in a world where we're being bombarded with all kinds of energies and informations, some that serve us and some that do not serve us. And so we want to be able to recognize and be protected from anything and everything that doesn't serve us. We may think, oh, it's just energy, but energy is the essence of everything. I can scramble your brain with just energy. I can, and I've done it many times in workshops to demonstrate, and people are always been surprised. Unfortunately, I'm here all by myself, and so if I did it on my dog, it wouldn't be the same. But we always want to start our day, we always want to start an event with protections, that only that which is for our highest and best good and the highest best good of all concerned is happening to and for and with us. The third thing we ask for is the guidance. um, like walking in the woods, there's always a lot of different directions you can go in. And so by having, um, who just zinged me? I don't know who zinged me. But anyway, by having guidance, we go in the place we need to go. And sometimes that's not where I had planned, but it's always divinely perfect. So protection, guidance, and truth are the three things that I always call in. There's lots of other things you can call in, and you can call in as many and as much as you want, but it is important to develop the habit of doing it. So when you get up in the morning, always a good idea. Even at night when you're going to bed, always a good idea. And then whenever you're doing anything new that may put you in a precarious new place, again, just ask for it. I'm not sure who's coming and going. It's kind of a weird evening. But anyway, so that is the way we start. The second part that we always start with is a bit of light work. We're here as light workers, which means we get to play with the light. We get to use the light to empower the planet, empower ourselves, empower other people. And so we actually use the light, which is our true essence, in order to serve this planet and its people. For people who have not played with the light a lot, it may feel like you're doing nothing. And indeed, in the physical world, you're not going to see the results of the work you do. But in the spiritual world, in the unseen world, lots and lots and lots of is happening. And that takes a bit to come into this world. We've been talking over the weeks about evil. And this indeed is a time where good or God is battling evil or the forces of lesser lights. Live or live is L-I-V-E. The word evil is that word spelled backwards. Evil is that which goes against the flow of life. It is not a judgment, it is a description. And we are here as light workers to combat, neutralize, outwit this energy. The interesting thing about evil energy, or people who do evil things in the search of power and greed and manipulation and is that they are self-extinguishing, that it has to extinguish itself. It can't sustain its own life. But what it does is it manipulates, it steals, it tricks, it harnesses energies from other sources. It's why evil always is recruiting new victims, new partners, new people in all kinds of different ways, because it cannot sustain itself if it doesn't have new members. And so we're here to literally undo the impact of evil. And we do that through light. Light is the purest and highest form of energy. The more we raise our vibration, the more powerful the love and light we use becomes, because it has to filter through our physical body. And so as we begin to play with the light and love, we are transformed into a higher being, and we're also able to impact the world in bigger ways. You'll often find me closing my eyes as I'm talking, and it's just sort of my way of filtering out the physical world so I can be more clearly connected with the unseen world. I've been watching the reruns of Third Rock from the Sun, and it reminds me of Harry's character, who's always squinting his eyes. So I have to say that. Also, just as a point of interest, Stacy tells me that I have a chair that makes sound, that it sounds like I'm passing gas. To date, I've never passed gas on a call, but if you hear something that sounds like it, it's just the chair. Please ignore it. And with that said, we're going to go play in the light. So if you will, just in your imagination, because that is the place of your greatest power, it is the place of your greatest alignment. I want you to imagine that you're going to your happy place, your place of center. It can look like anything or it can look like nothing. Doesn't matter. I've had people make it look like their living room or their kitchen. I've had people, mine is a beach. I love beaches. So mine is a beautiful, sunny, warm beach. It's just a vibrational place where you feel most comfortable, most safe, most secure, most aligned. But what you're doing is you're doing that. It's sort of like a tumbler on a safe lock. It tumbles into place so that you're most aligned with all the forces that serve you. And in this place, you are your most powerful. You're your most clear. You're your most wise. And I want you to imagine that you're in this tunnel of light, this funnel of light, this pillar of light. We're here to anchor the heavenly energies into the earth. It's what the Lord Prayer tells us to do every time we recite it. We're anchoring heaven to earth. And we're doing that through being in our center, in our pillar of light. We're bringing in heavenly energies into the earth and filling the earth with those energies. And today we're going to ask all the heavenly beings of every form who support this planet and its transformation to join us energetically in this experience. And then what I'd like you to do is just imagine you as a light. Your divine essence, your soul essence, your true self is light. We choose a body, we choose a mind in order to give us experiences and growth opportunities. But who we are at our very core is light. And so what I would like you to do is just imagine that light from you connecting with the energy from the heavens and the energy of the earth. You are here to anchor heaven to earth. And then we're going to amplify this light and love. And we're going to send it out into the planet, into our dear Mother Earth, filling every cell in, on, and around her with our love. Every rock, every creature, every consciousness, every vacancy on the planet, we're just going to fill with light and love. And we're going to amplify that and ask the angels to make it more powerful. And then we're going to amplify that energy still and send it out into the atmosphere. The atmosphere is to the earth as our skin is to our body. It's a very important protective layer. And we're just going to love it. And then we are going to send this love and light out into the weather patterns. The weather patterns are a very important part of this Earth's journey. It's how she finds balance. And so we're just going to love the weather. Right now in Northwest Indiana, a suburb of Chicago, we're in the middle of a great snowstorm, followed by that lovely Arctic cold front. So we're just going to love it. This too is a day that God has made. Rejoice and be glad. So whatever your weather, anywhere on the planet, we're just going to love it. And then we're going to send love and light to all those on the planet who are in fear, conflict, anger, hurt, need, whatever your or their condition, our job is just to love them. And we're going to send love and light to the mass consciousness of this planet. It is the repository of all the consciousnesses of all those who've ever been on this planet or ever will be on this planet. Our job is just to love it and put our own love into this collection. And with this elevated consciousness, we send love out to all those who've contributed to this consciousness. And then we're going to send love and light out to all those who are in leadership, especially political leadership during this time of upheaval. And we're just going to love them and see that love surrounding them and penetrating them. Love is a very important ingredient. It's a choice whether to let it in, but it's our choice to share it. And we just love them. All the leaders and influencers of companies, of organizations, of online influencers, anyone who influences another in any form, we're going to send lots of extra love to them. All those who are making decisions on other people's lives and other people's well-beings and the quality of life for other people, we're going to give them an extra dose of love and light. All those who are in pain and suffering, who are in lack and limitation, who are still struggling with that third dimensional mindset, our job is just to love them. So just imagine loving them. We have a president that went out of office, and we're just going to send him lots of love and gratitude for the service he provided. And then we have a president that came into office, who's now making decisions that will impact this world. We're going to love him as well. And we're going to ask that divine will be done. Whatever that means, however it informs, we are here to support divine will. And then on this planet, there are a lot of beings who are working for the good of this planet, for the good of humanity. They're here to serve and to serve the greater good. We're going to send them all lots of extra love and light, as well as the courage and the confidence, the wisdom to step forward in truth and knowing it is their divine destiny. And then, of course, we have those on the planet who have their own agenda, who are those ones that we would label evil. They work against the greater good. They work for their own agenda. They work for their own greed. They work for their own manipulation. They work for their own power. Whatever their motivation is, they're flowing against the good of the planet and its people. And our job is to love them. Just imagine them in every form, in every kind of being, whether seen or unseen, whether known or unknown. Our job is just to love them. And then we're going to give permission to the angels to use this love and light that we've been using in any way that serves this planet and its people. We are here to make a difference. We are here to step up in courage and confidence. We're going to just surround them with love and light. And then, as always, what you send out must come back to you. So what I would like you to do is just open your heart, open your consciousness, open your mind, open every cell of your body to this light and love, and just feel it come back to you. On this planet right now, there's a lot of manipulation and control going on. Some we know about, some we don't. Some are in forms that we recognize, some are in forms we don't recognize. I want you to imagine them as like strings that are all wrapped around your body. but you're much more powerful than these strings. And I want you to be like the Hulk and just throw them off. You break everything that's limiting you, that's controlling you, that's altering your truth, your existence. And then light those strings on fire. This is a fire of love. And let them burn back to whomever put them out, try to encapsulate you, so they will feel this burning love. And it undoes all they've done to try and control and manipulate humanity. Whether it happens in this lifetime or any lifetime, just imagine releasing yourself from anything that holds you down, holds you back, that keeps you from being a fully awakened, fully conscious, fully empowered light worker. Feel this energy as it comes to you. Awakening old truths, awakening memories and experiences, awakening the recognition of who you are and what you are. Awakening your DNA so it goes back into its perfect divine blueprint. The perfect, original, empowered, divine blueprint. And then I want you to imagine drinking an elixir, maybe in one of those big, beautiful drinks that you get in those Mexican restaurants that have all kinds of cute colors and cute glass. And just imagine this cosmic concoction that you drink that makes you impossible to alter internally or externally. As you drink this, it's a fixative to keep you in your divine perfect state, to neutralize any energy that's sent to you that does not serve you. And anything that would be in your physical or in your etheric bodies that may try to alter or impact or impede you in any way is just dissolved. And as you drink it, you feel this energetic boost. You feel your greatness grow. And finally, I want you to see this can may look like hairspray to you, but it's another fixative and a repellent. Anything that does not serve you is going to be repelled. So just imagine spraying it all over your body, like a body mist, and all over your energetic field. So you become a repellent to anyone or anything that tries to dumb you down, slow you up, make you less powerful than your natural divine state. And all of these tools are at your bidding whenever you want to use them. And you can use them on yourself and others with their permission. And for all these wonderful gifts, we are truly grateful. And we invite the divine, the infinite intelligence to guide us, to show us, to assist us be all that we can be. Take a deep breath and anchor this energy. And when you're ready, just come back to the here and now. And just feel how you feel. And just be in the moment. And whenever you so choose, you can go back and revisit this light experience and enjoy the results all over again. So be it. Okay, I don't know if Stacy's on the phone now or not. Her picture's there, but if you want to add something, Stacy, please feel free. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and begin our little conversation. This has been another strange week, added to a strange year, added to a strange month. It just keeps getting more and more unusual. So, anybody want to share anything or ask anything? And at this point in time, we're asking as much as a general issue rather than personal issues until we get to the end. At the end, we'll have personal issues. Yes, Trina.
Oh, never mind. Wrong day. I was thinking today was Sunday. It's not. I can't
No,
speak that
no.
question.
Yeah, on Sundays we talk politics, and so there have been people on the spiritual chat that doesn't like to talk politics, although the two things that will affect your life, the quality of life most is politics and religion. And so those are the conversations that people oftentimes shy away from. So but yes, join us on Sunday. There she is. Yay. Join us on Sunday and we'll talk politics. And Stacy has just joined us for those who can't see. And Stacy's the one that reads messages from our online friends.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, I haven't been able to do IG, but I'm finally on the internet. So I'm back on my computer and then I'm going to go live on IG now.
Okay. So you just tell me when we're playing.
On the phone with support. So,
you what?
I said I was on the phone with tech support and you can't go live when you're on the phone.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad you've got it straightened out. Anybody else have questions? Thursday night questions.
Do you have any, like, it's so the collective energy, like, do you want to go into that a little bit? I would love to hear your input on, is it just me going through massive changes and all this wildness?
No, everybody's going through
The
lots and
Schumann
lots
has
of
been
different
like
things.
crazy.
The who? The what's been crazy?
The Schumann resonance, the Mother Earth's crazy. I've been hurting a lot, bones and everything. So
I would make sure that you're not moving into rigidity. Sometimes when your bones hurt, it can be as hold a second. It can be a result of rigidity in your intentions or thinking. So make sure that's not the cause, and just let it flow. Stacy, do you want to add something?
No, I just wanted to say hello and welcome. We're going live. That's all.
Well, hello and welcome. We're going live.
I'll wait till you're done with the answer.
I'm done.
Okay, now, then I will officially be going live. So if you're seeing this, technology is working. All right, welcome to Cosmic Conversations. It is late because we've had technical issues from my end. So we missed the beginning part in the love meditation. If you want to go back to one of my favorite parts, go back and watch the YouTube of the live recording of this on my YouTube channel. It's Stacy Harder. And that's it. Then you can go get that. And we are now partially through our Cosmic Conversations and we're just getting into some of the questions. So I'm going to go back to Heather and let her take over. Hello.
How many followers do you have on YouTube now?
I don't know.
Oh. Anyway, so go watch on YouTube and then follow Stacy so that she can we want to get at least to 100 for her. So you let us know when you're doing because we're all helping you.
Oh, nice. I think I'm at like 31. I'll check.
Okay. Progress. All right. But we always start with protection, guidance, and truth. So even if you're joining us on Instagram, that's an automatic. Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments or anything?
Do you want to ask the question about the collective energy?
No, I didn't. You notice how I didn't do that? I want to give other people a chance to ask questions and stuff at this point in time. We can do that later on if I feel like it. Anybody else? Well, it looks like it's going to be a short evening. Oh, there we go. Josie's got something. You're muted.
Okay. Well, sometimes when we do that meditation and we get to the part where it's for the people that are suffering and are in bad places, you know, and anyway, sometimes I can like feel that low and that sadness, you know, and I almost want to cry. But I just want to say that not all the time. Sometimes it's just, you know, regular, but other times it's like real heavy.
Okay. So now, what happens is when we're sending love and light, it's coming from our core, our heart energy. And so you're literally, when you're sending love and light to anyone and anything, you're plugging that energy into them. You're sending it to them. Well, when you open that channel to send it, you're also receiving. It's how this country is going to become more compassionate, more understanding, because you'll feel that what they're feeling. And that's really what you're doing. So it's not surprising. It's actually a testament to your open heart that you're feeling it, but just recognize that means you need to do more love and light for them and not own it. You probably are a person who owns other people's issues. You feel if someone is sad, you feel sad. If you're, you know, you take on their stuff. And so this isn't about owning or taking on other people's challenges, because that doesn't help anybody. It's just really about sending them love and light and supporting them as they go through their journey. Nobody on this planet is doing something that wasn't specifically asked for, chosen, designed for them and their lessons. So a person who's struggling, that's their destiny. And we need to honor that part of them that chose that, that's willing to walk through that. A friend of mine, when she was 2, she was playing with gasoline and matches. Not a good combination. And she literally created an explosion, was burned over 90% of her body. And because of the massive scar from head to toe, she has to have surgery every once in a while to remove it. She's had, I don't know how many surgeries she's had, way beyond what I can understand or comprehend. And when I first met her, it was like, oh my gosh, what a soul you must have that would have chosen to go through that and continue to go through it. That's incredible. And that was my every thought, you know, because I don't see, oh, poor you. I see this incredible soul who's chosen a very hard life to walk through. And that's really what everyone is going through, that's going through challenges in their life now. This is what you've chosen to help you grow and be stronger for it, or to help other people grow through it. I mean, as an adult, a very beautiful woman with massive scar tissue, she goes around teaching burn patients how to put on makeup, how to, you know, cover their scars in a way that's, you know, more becoming. And if you can't help people if you haven't gone through it, because you don't have true compassion for their situation. So the people who will do the best at helping other people with their financial woes are people who've had them themselves. People who will be the most effective at helping other people through their addictions are people who've experienced addictions. In every way, we're going through whatever we need to go through so we can help other people go through what they need to go through. As we say, our mess is our message. Stacy, did you let her in?
I think so, but it didn't sound like it worked.
She's in. I'm used to letting people in, so I don't know if I'm supposed to do it or not. But anyway, our mess is our message. And so don't feel sorry for them. Don't hurt for them. Just recognize what incredibly powerful people and souls they are for walking through that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
When the kids were little and I would drink out of their soda bottles, they go, oh, you leave, I don't know what did you call them, Stace? Anyway, that you leave backwash, you know, that stuff comes out of your mouth into their sodas and they were repelled. And so think of it as energetic backwash. You're getting their things, and so you need to send that much more love and light to them. But their pain should not cause you pain, even though you'll feel it. I mean, so yay for you having your heart open, but you don't want to own their challenges. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I have a question from IG,
Okay.
and the question is, how do you stay in the light when others want you to feel worthless?
Turn up the volume. Other people can't make you feel worthless. They can do whatever they can do, but they can't make you feel worthless. Only you can agree to feel worthless. If others are trying to get you to feel worthless, then recognize that one, it's a reflection of who they are, and love them. Just literally send them love and light. The more your light shines, the more you will attract those who try to dim your light. And so what you want to do is shine brighter, and you will always have people who want to dim you. Yeah. And just don't play their game. And if other people can control how you feel about yourself or your moods, whatever, recognize you've given them your power. Take it back. I think, I forget who said it, but if people can anger you, they can control you. And so if people can make you feel worthless, it's because you first feel that. So don't feel that. Recognize you are an incredible being. You are much more powerful. You're much more knowledgeable. You're much more everything than what you can imagine. And that every day we just get a little bit more power, a little bit more wisdom, a little bit more competent. And that might, if she's, I assume it's a she, is feeling less than, then it's time for her to take action to release those feelings. And probably people who experience depression or, well, depression's a big one, or whatever, it's usually because of guilt and shame and blame, and they're angry at themselves, and usually comes from past life. So you need to address that. Depression is anger turned inward. I can rage, and that's an outward anger, but I can rage internally, and that's depression. It's time to do away with that. Doesn't serve humanity. Thank you for the question, somebody.
She said, it's Esme. She said, thank you, hands. And then I had a hard day yesterday, people at work being jealous of her for some reason and being childish.
Then congratulations to you, because you're doing enough that's causing other people to feel jealous. And what's happening is you're sending out this energy, let's say, of confidence. And people who are not confident are resonating with that and going, oh, let's stop her. You know, I see as a teacher, I saw that a lot, where teachers would be really annoyed by people who were overly confident. Kids, they'd want to slam them down so they weren't as confident because it was less threatening to them. So if you're triggering these people, congratulations. As long as you're not doing it on purpose, you won't get karma. But you just be your loving self. And again, evil will self-extinguish. They can't survive. Just keep sending them love. I had a division chair who was very unhappy in everything, me included. And I literally, when I got to a certain place in my drive-in, I would send her love and light, and just literally for 15, 20 minutes, just hold her in the light, because she was such an unhappy person. And within a couple of months, she left the university and went to another university. She couldn't handle it. And that's okay. That was her choice. My job was just to love her. So you do your job and don't worry about how other people receive it.
Well, she said she took it personally.
You don't. That's the challenge. If you take it personally, it's not personal.
Well, and I think that goes back, I've been kind of in and out, so I'm not exactly sure what you said, but I think that's also a good reminder, is that when other people are irritated, you're just there to mirror for them what their issues are. And to me, all of those issues that are coming back to us is just put it in simple terms, your higher self asking you to show up and love yourself deeper and more fuller, and showing you where you have more room for improvement. So it's a gift when you have triggers. It's
What
just,
I call them is opportunities for growth. The universe has a way of showing us, because if they're bothering you, it's your opportunity for growth.
it's always your lesson. So it's your choice, it's your gift. And then on top of that, you literally, it's just like, hey, are you ready to look at this yet? Are you ready to process this? So it's a beautiful opportunity if you keep your mind on that and then go into observation. What does this teach me? What am I learning? Is this mine? Is this karmic? Is this all the questions?
And the light workers are here to serve. So you also may be gifting this to the person who you're irritating. I was invited to do 2 weeks worth of workshops in Bali, and I was thrilled. It's like, I've arrived. This is wonderful. So my first workshop in Bali, I'm really wanted to pat myself in the back. I've arrived, yay for me. And afterwards, and it wasn't unusual for people to come up afterwards and talk to you after you've done a presentation. And this woman came up to me and she goes, I don't like you. I don't like you a lot. You remind me of my mother. And I said, oh, thank you. I said, the universe must love you so much that sent me on a plane for 36 hours so I can be here to reflect your mother. I said, my goodness, the universe must really love you. And she sort of was startled. And I said, you want to sit and talk about your mother? And so we sat down, and within an hour or two, we worked through her mother issues. But you never know why you're being drawn to or exposed to something. I was going through boxes. This is a story about you, Stacy, but I was going through boxes today, and I found a box of Stacy's old college papers. And so obviously I'm looking at a few of them, and I realized I'm finding these letters that she wrote in defiance of these professors and stuff that she was dealing with. I won't go into details, but it's like Stacy's always been here to confront injustices. When they do your autobiography, Stacy, I want you to keep these letters and have them available, because she's always confronting some injustice by somebody. So she's put in places that are out of integrity just so that she'll reflect back how out of integrity they are. Do you remember that, Professor?
Is it the one that I was coming across campus from another?
Yes. That's it.
There.
Your freshman year. But anyway, the point is, there's lots of reasons why it can be happening. Your job is to show up in full love and full power and be grateful. And part of your growth will be recognizing how those people lose their power over you.
So, and another comment was, someone said, if I blow you right, that's right. I just cried this morning and released the feeling I had. I really dislike crying, but I had to do it to feel better.
If you don't cry, you literally harden yourself. It's very important to cry, like epoxy. We mix things together and it gets hardened, unpenetrable. If you don't allow yourself to cry, it becomes rigid. One of my favorite passages of the Bible is the passage that says Jesus wept. That to me shows humanity. It shows that he felt. It shows that he had such emotion on the topic that he wept. So never ever, and when people cry, and they do a lot with my private sessions, I cheer. It's like, yes, we got to that very important place where they're really feeling it. And so I'm glad. And so when you get to that place of strong emotion, that's the place of importance, whether it's a negative cry or whether it's a cry of joy, because science actually can look at the composition of the tears and tell what kind of tears they are, because our tears for different reasons have different chemical compositions, because it's a releasing, it's allowing, and it's very powerful. So when you're going through sad times, take the time and allow the tears. In fact, for many people, I actually encourage them to watch old movies that are tear jerkers and force themselves to release, because they've been stuffing it for so long they don't know how to let go. And if they can't release their emotion, the universe will just give you bigger and bigger bumps so that you finally do. So you might as well not resist. Just cry on the little things. I can remember in one phase of my learning, I was sitting watching TV, and back when I watched TV, and I literally was crying at commercials. It's like, this is stupid, even for me, but it was tears were that on the edge. So just be grateful that you cry and let it go. It's a power. It's not a weakness. Is that anything else, Stacy?
No, I also, in tantric tradition, they consider tears to be amrita of the eyes, which is divine nectar from the heavens. And so,
All right, you're too far away from the microphone. It's going in and out for me.
So one of the things they do in tantra teaching is they talk about when you cry, they call it amrita of the eyes, and amrita means divine nectar from the heavens. So it's God's juices. And so when you cry, one of the things that we do, because usually it's a release, it's moving through, it's a healing processing. And so a lot of times they'll take it and they'll bless it. And so it's like, thank you. And it's like you can flood it on your chakras, put it under your tongue. But if you bless yourself with it too, it's like, this is my growth, this is my journey. And so you honor that. But for me, I find the more I'm just in the flow of letting the tears of appreciation come out, it's just a beautiful gift. It's always that cleansing feeling afterwards. Like it's a purification. It's like getting baptized through your emotional system.
Okay. Anybody else? And during this crazy time, that's what I'm going to call it, this chaos, there's so many different things going on. So you can be in a state of despondency and someone else can be in a state of joy, and you're right next to each other because the energy is stimulating whatever is unresolved in you. So a lot of times this strong emotion is coming because you have an unresolved issue that you need to look at. So take the time to ask, where's this coming from? Why is this going on? How do I move through this with joy? Alicia, anything you want to add? Or
no, I'm just taking it all in. It's like I'm trying to, I don't know how to describe it, restore energy. That's, so I'm just here.
that'll work. Well, one of the things that's happening right now on the planet for the light workers is a lot of them are in battle. I don't even like aren't words, but there's no other word for it. We're in conflict through the night, working with this energy. And so when we wake up, we're really tired. Asking to restore the energy, giving me enough energy to animate my body is very important. And I see it sort of like a balloon. I just blow up the energy around me and put a little knot in it so that it doesn't escape. And then I just imagine that balloon blowing up so that I have the energy to animate, because we're using a lot more energy than we normally would. So
I feel like I'm using a lot more energy, but I also feel like I'm not getting anything done at the same time.
Well, I know that you're a mother, so I'll use a pregnancy example. When you're going through a pregnancy in those early stages, it doesn't look like you're doing anything, except if you've ever been pregnant, you know there's a period you go through where you just have a hard time walking to the bathroom. It's just like you want to sleep all the time. I was teaching, I would come home and go to bed at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and get up the next morning to go to work. I was sleeping all the time because my body was working much harder at creating this embryo. And so our physical body is doing a lot more, and our energetic body are doing a lot more than we can imagine right now. So it's not that you're not getting anything done. What you're not getting done is a third dimensional to-do list, but your spiritual to-do list is getting very accomplished. So just trust. Again, we just have to trust.
I am. My accountant is just not happy. Because I'm not getting my tax papers done.
Oh, it's divinely perfect.
It is for me.
Welcome Jennifer B. and Mayfer and Laura. Anybody have any questions they want to ask? Stacy, oh, are you on your computer now or are you on your,
I'm on my computer now.
all right, would you take it in the chat, type in the information, at least the name of the workshop for Tuesday and
Sure.
my
I wanted
PayPal
to
account in
know
case they want to,
What's,
huh?
what's the name of the workshop?
I emailed it to you.
Yes, but remember I've had no internet. So,
Can't you open it now? I forget what it is.
well, I can open it now, but then Instagram will be leaving. So
Okay, well, I can't open it either. So it's something about aliens, UFOs, and light workers.
So Tuesday, if you'd like to join us for a masterclass with Dr. Heather Harder, this Tuesday it will be alien cosmic cousins info, and it's kind of good old information.
I did send out an email to everybody. If you didn't get it, let me know what your email is because you're obviously not on my list. However, Stacy, that's why I said type it in so that way you wouldn't disturb the
Well,
group, but it's okay.
I want them to be able to see it too, if wherever you are joining from Instagram or YouTube. But that being said, it is $22 for a masterclass. It's a 2-hour workshop, and in the workshop, Heather will also be doing how to clear out any alien implants or devices that you might have etherically. And so I do feel that this is a very important class to understand and to get you into your. Would you like to add anything? All right,
No.
so join us for $22 masterclass Tuesday with Dr. Heather Harder. It's aliens, and more.
Okay, thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that.
And if you want to sign up for Heather's email or you want to email Heather for information, go to heather@heatherharder.com, and that's her email. heather@heatherharder.com, and it's also, that will be the same. So we kind of try to do all the classes at the same time. So it'll be 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. So it kind of gets consistent. So Sunday and Thursdays, we all do the same time. So that's what we're doing for now. And then I think Mom's month class is getting pushed around a little bit time-wise.
And PayPal, okay, my PayPal account is also heather@heatherharder.com. So feel free to send all the money you want.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, you can always pay more than 22 if you want, but
And if you ordered books and stuff, your books are in process if you haven't received them yet. So, all right, going back, questions.
Shoot.
Josie, you have another question?
Yeah, I was trying to think. I had one and then it went away. So I'm like,
That's-
where'd it go?
That's why I
Trying to
write
find
it
it.
down.
Okay, yeah. You always tell me.
Oh, there she's. There you go, Stacy.
What?
She poked in there the
so real quick,
information about the workshop.
there's a question about what kind of alien attachments are you aware of and what purpose are they supposed to serve? That's a good question, I think, of
Well,
understanding.
it's not a quick question. There's all kinds of alien implants, from thought implants to mechanical implants to etheric implants to all kinds of different implants, and it depends. The purpose they serve is based on who's implanting them. If they're the lesser lights, it's to control and manipulate you. Sometimes fully, sometimes when they turn it on, because they can be turned on and off. And if it's from the light team, the light other people who are working for light, then usually is to help balance out something that you have chosen to balance out. It would never be done against your will, but you cannot have conscious knowledge of it. It's why when I'm doing removal, it's always, if this serves you, fine. If it doesn't, then release it, because there are implants that can serve you to date, and I've probably removed thousands so far. I've never had anybody who was implanted by the light. So I got private messages down here. I got to figure out how to get to them.
Okay, and while you're figuring that out, because Esme is epically on top of it with her notebook, she's asking us if we will be talking about last week's topic, left pending. So I asked her what it was. How is one's, are you done with this part, with that question? Okay, so the next, following up on last week's conversation, is how is one's physical reflected in the post-physical death existence?
Okay, this is the book content of Exploring Life's Last Frontier, The World of Death, Dying, and Letting Go.
And that would be this book, and you can get that again at heatherharder.com. And it is, again, Exploring Life's Final Frontier.
Okay. And what that book does is take three people that were living, and I write from my mother's perspective what she was like as a human being. And then it was a teenage daughter of a friend of mine who was killed by a drunk driver. And her mother writes her portion on what she was like as a teen. And then it was a co-worker at the university who was in his 40s and just didn't wake up one Friday morning. He died of renal failure, and his wife talks about him and what he was like as a live person. And then literally I was taken through the death experience, and we have stages of death, just like we have developmental phases of our bodies, our living. And so the same thing happens when we die. So I was taken through these experiences and then shared. I mean, I write about what they're going through and how they differ because they were very different people. To sort of sum it all up, is your death experience is exactly the way you create it. The more you understand death, the more it doesn't, bother you. In fact, right now, I'm going to back up and do something else. Right now, just in your imagination, I want you to imagine that you are inside an acrylic box, all sealed up, completely encased in this box. No windows, no doors. You're in this box. And then what's your reaction? How are you feeling?
You said a clear box? What kind of box?
An acrylic box. It doesn't matter if it's clear or not, just a box. You're sealed inside a box. You have no windows, no doors. You're inside a box. What's your reaction?
Are you asking personally?
I am asking. That's what the question mark is.
So for me, I got chills all throughout my entire body.
Okay. Anybody else want to share with their reaction to finding themselves in this box?
Someone said I felt safe. And then someone asked, is it translucent, question mark. One says claustrophobia.
Okay, so that supposedly is an indication of what you're going to feel like when you die. It's a new world. It's a different experience. If you went through panic and fear, you're probably going to have some of that when you find out you're dead. If you're tranquil and peaceful, you're probably going to experience that when you find out you're dead. The biggest thing is that people don't always recognize they're dead, and that because we expect it to be some lightning bolt from heaven, and it isn't at all. Your thoughts become manifest much faster than in real life. I mean, if we were going to manifest something as when you're in a physical body, it takes longer. In your death experience, it happens much quicker, much more immediately. And so that movie that who's the guy that did the movie about his wife dying and he goes to this field of flowers that melt and all that stuff? I forget the name of that movie, but anyway, that
Robert Williams. What dreams?
Yes, Robert Williams. Yes, What Dreams May Come. That's a good indication of kind of what it's going to be for some when they die, because he kept switching the realities based on his thoughts. And that's really what you do to begin with. You have to sort of recognize you're dead. And that if you hear people talk about their near-death experience where they die and come back, that's sort of one of the reactions. They're floating above their body and they're watching these things happen to their body and they're going, what's going on? What's happening? Why is this happening? And that's sort of what happens when you die as well. And then as you begin to anchor your reality, you realize, hopefully, that you're dead, and you generally stay around your body until it's disposed of, till it hits its final resting place, whether that's cremation or burial or whatever. But they stay around and they rotate and visit the people that are closest to them in life, so that they'll come and see how you're doing and say goodbye in their own way. So they're very present. The Catholics, I'm not a Catholic, but I hear the Catholics have like a special prayer for the dying, and that's very powerful to talk about what they did, how they contributed to your life, what you're grateful for. It can be very helpful, because one of the phases they have to go through is to go to their life review process. There was a movie that kind of did a version of it, and I wish I remembered the names of all these actors, like Stacy did. Meryl Streep and the guy with the curly hair did a movie called, I forget what it was called. You know which one I'm talking about, Stacy? If you look up Meryl Streep, there's one about your life review, and that's very, no, it's not exactly the way it happens, but it's as close as Hollywood can do it. In the life review process, you experience your entire life, not in sequence, but collectively, and you experience all that it experienced, all the ripple of what your actions took. So let's say you come home from work and you're tired and you're upset and you are angry at your child, and so you yell at your child, and then the child is upset and kicks the dog, and the dog goes and bites the mailman, and all that is because your actions cause this ripple of behaviors. You experience everything you experience simultaneously, and you experience it as far out as it goes. So if you've done a lot of good things, you experience a lot of good things. And in this movie, Meryl Streep has lived this very pious life. And then the curly-haired sort of strange guy had not been so good. And so he's experiencing all the negative things he did. And that's a very important phase, because after that, you go and choose what your next life is going to be. So again, if you hold on, if you are a person who has a sentimental attachment to everything, then you're going to have a hard time letting go of your physical body and your physical life and moving on. If you're a person who judges yourself and beats yourself up, you're going to choose harshly what your next experience is going to be, because you're going to cue in on the shit that you did and the bad things that you did. And so when you die, you're going through these developmental phases of death, but your orientation to yourself doesn't change. And I know it's hard to explain because we don't have a language for it. But if I did a personality inventory on any of you, I would be able to tell you what kind of death you're going to have. And I've walked, if the more you can prepare, the more the transition will be easy for you. Where's your favorite place to be? We've talked about going to center and creating wherever you feel safe and protected and happiest, your happy place. And so I said, for mine's a beach. So I already know when I transition, first place I'm going to is a beautiful beach. That's my go-to place. And so the more you can sort of prepare yourself for that experience, the easier it is. And then it's literally, I've transitioned several people through their life and death experience, and it's very easy because you just let go. can imagine taking off an outfit you wore and just letting it drop to the ground and then moving on without it. That's what death is. It's just, this is the body we put on for this life experience. When we're done with it, we just let it fall. And then we go on to a new experience. When my father was dying, I literally talked him through how to turn his life force off. He was dying of cancer. He had no hope for living. He was in terrible state. I didn't touch him in any way, but I did help him die by just recognizing that he can turn off his life force like a garden hose. And I had to imagine that there was a faucet there. He's turning off the faucet, and then to just imagine drifting away. And it was incredible. Within a very short time, he drew his last breath. And if you've ever been around somebody who draws their last breath, it's a very much a unusual, sort of a shaky breath. And then when his soul left his body, it went through me. It was incredible. But he had been grown up in a very tough life, and he was used to fighting. So he was fighting death, even though he wanted to die. So teaching him how just to relax and let it go was very good for him. My ex-husband, when he was dying, it's like, where do you have the best time? Where do you enjoy being? Well, when he was dying, he went to an auto show. He loved cars. And so he starts, when he was dying, he starts talking about, the 58 Chevy he was looking at and stuff. So, just imagine what you find the most reassuring, the most loving, the most fun place to be. Your favorite memory, and then just program yourself that that's where I want to go. That's my heaven. But heaven or hell is whatever we create it to be. If you are still blaming yourself and feel guilty for all kinds of things, then you're going to create a hell. And it's all choice, just like on Earth, but it happens faster and it's like a very lucid dream. Does that answer her question? That's a whole lot of information.
I will check to see if it answers her question or not.
Okay.
She did ask for an example of that, so you did give some examples, so we'll see.
Okay.
On top of that, though, I will, you can get your inputs, but I've tried to do that, turning off my stuff before, but I don't feel it was allowed to because it wasn't my destiny. So it doesn't work unless it's
your team has to agree that this is the best for you. So you can't turn off your life force if it's not your time to die.
Because I definitely was processing during my back injury and my awareness of being raped. I was going through a lot of stuff. And so for me, I was like, I'm done. I'm checking out. I don't want to do this, but it wasn't letting me
yeah.
do it. And I was like, what's going on?
It has to be allowed all the way up. It has to be part of the journey. And I had one person who did that because she'd gotten so far off of her mission that she knew she couldn't get back to it. So it's like, okay, let's just jump out of this body and get to the next body so I can do it again. And so it was allowed for her to get out of her body. And that's really what it is. I use the example of a acting troupe that when they go to one city, they're playing one play, and one's the mother, one's the father, one's the good guy, one's the bad guy. But when they go to another city, they're acting at another play, and they have different costumes, they have different characters they're playing, and they do that. So we take this whole life on Earth so very seriously. But everything rests on our shoulders and also so very serious. And it's because we don't understand it. This life is a blink in the cosmic eye. And our job is to enjoy the role we play as much as we can and go, oh, heck, this is fun. I get to figure out how to pay the mortgage this month. And if you can change your attitude toward the challenges you're going through, then your experience will be different. So tell me if there's anything else online.
We're going. Okay. So it was Mafioso's question, but Esme remembered it. So
okay, hold on a second. Is Mafio Mafioso, whatever is he able to see me, or is he just hearing me?
Oh, he can see you. And also, by the way, he said, oh, I'll tell you about what one of the comments he said, but go ahead.
I'm done. I just waved at them.
Oh, you're waving at him. Okay. And you can also wave to our Australian friend, Gabriel.
Hi, Gabriel.
Esme. So we've got several countries joining us.
Love and life. Love and life.
When you were talking about the acrylic box, he also asked if it was clear, and that was my question. He said, I'd probably try to melt the acrylic to make a hole through it and see what's on the other side, since I can bend spoons as if they were made of putty. Laughing face. But apparently, I asked him to teach me. So he knows how to also bend spoons like putty. Which is kind of fun to me. Anyways, that's it.
Well,
Okay, so apparently he said, yeah, check please. And they were like, your credit card is no good here. Sorry, you'll have to stay and pay the bill by washing dishes. So get your pretty butt behind in the kitchen. Well, he didn't say butt. He's get your pretty behind in the kitchen. Laughing. So I think that's like in regards to like, you can't die yet. You got to get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
Oh.
The only time, first of all, if you commit suicide, if you kill yourself at your own hands, then literally you have to come back immediately and go through everything you've gone through already plus one. And so suicide is never an answer to your problems. It's a short-term solution in which you make a much bigger problem for yourself. On the other hand, the only time that there's no karmic consequence of killing yourself is if you're terminal and you are wanting to end your life, not to end your suffering, but because you don't want to hurt other people. You don't want them to have to take care of you. That is the only exception. And remember, the universe knows your heart. So if you're really being altruistic for someone else, then there's not the karmic consequences. But taking your own life is a huge, 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 not a good thing. And if you want to get out of your life, you have to finish your assignment, whatever that is, or get permission to jump ship.
Or
and that means
appointment
you
with
don't have to do anything to take your own. You don't have to take your own life. It'll happen automatically. It'll just start. Like my friend who stopped breathing one Friday morning from renal failure. He could have done that just to help me out with my book, because 3 people died within a very short time who were very, very different ages in their life, and I was able to use them as examples.
There is a question from Esme that says, I have a question. What is a lost soul or purgatory?
Well, again, those are words that people have different definitions for. So if you ask 10 people what they are, you're going to get 10 different answers. I'll tell you what I think they are, but that may or not hold true across the board. So you have to find those answers for yourself within yourself. Ask and you shall receive. So you do your own meditation, do your own reflection, do your own investigation for it. But a lost soul, there's a lot of people who get attached to the physical body and they won't let go of it. And so they, especially if they die in a strong emotion, they get caught in this loop where they're doing the same things over and over again. That would be my definition of a lost soul. They're caught up in a non-productive cycle where they never get anywhere else. If you go to the White House, there are many, many people who have seen Jane Addams doing her laundry and hanging it in the East Room. If you read history, she hated the White House. She had been, they'd been, relatively well-to-do, and the White House was just being built. So they moved into this mud pit with this house, and she had to do laundry and hang it in the East Room. And apparently that was really torturous to her. And so she's just constantly doing laundry and hanging it in the East Room. She's caught in that loop. if you find people who are caught in the loop, feel free to say a prayer, ask the angels to come down and help them with their transition. And that's all you need to do. It bothers me when people go out ghost hunting and they're just like looking at them and poking at them. Oh, it's a ghost, it's a ghost. There's a reason why they're ghosts. Help them move on. And it can be as easy as calling in the angels and letting the angels guide them to their next place. So that would be a lost soul. And then purgatory. There's a lot of people on earth who created their own hell. They self-punished. I mean, one of my foster daughters was a self-mutilator. She, took a knife and cut on herself all the time. She lived in her own hell, and eventually killed herself with a drug overdose. So we know on earth there are people who, for whatever reason, have created their own hellish existence, and that just continues into the next world. We have spaces, we have events, we have different things going on. I'm told that Hitler, after he left this planet, that he had a really hard time, because again, you have to experience everything you caused, and we know that he was kind of responsible for a lot of misery. So he had to experience that again, that he literally couldn't process it. So he was put into a state of animation, for sort of like a coma kind of thing. You put someone in a coma, so their swelling of their brain will go down, as an example. Well, he went into a coma-like state for decades and decades because he wasn't ready to face or deal with what he had caused. So if you think you're going to need to be punished for something, you'll create that hell. And that hell will be whatever you think it is, a burning fire, a purgatory, whatever it is that you want to beat yourself up for. If you recognize that life on earth is about experiencing and learning and growing, then you recognize that you can experience all kinds of things that may not be nice, but it may have been needed for either the collective experience or for your own balance. And I've said different times, I have murdered people in past lives, again, past lives, and I have been murdered in past lives. And we do experience all the extremes in order to understand, to have compassion, to have a greater knowledge. It took me, when I recognized that in the physical world that I had been a murderer, it's really kind of hard to adjust to, because it's very real. And so it took me a while to forgive myself from killing someone. And I was watching TV with a friend, and something was said about this guy on TV who'd murdered someone. And I said, well, just because you murder someone doesn't make you a bad person. And she looked at me like, what? And I realized how silly that sounds, but it's true that we've all done things that we are not happy about, that we're not proud of, that we would like to have never done, but we did them. But they're part of our growth experiences, and recognizing it and being okay with that lesson. Doesn't mean you're going to do it again, but recognizing that we've all been that person that we would not want to be friends with today. And on many of my trips, I took I took a group to Peru on several occasions, but one of the people on the Peru trip was an incredible guy, and he went bonkers privately, because he remembered literally slaughtering hundreds of people, and he had to process that and get okay with that. And many times we've all experienced things that we're not proud of. So it's like, oh well.
Another question is, how is afterlife different than physical life, physical human life?
Well, in the physical life, and as a human right now, you have a physical body that slows everything down. It impacts. It's like if you get into an old clunker, I don't know what an old car that is slow and cumbersome, and it's kind of cranky and demands a lot of maintenance. Hopefully you've all had the experience of having a car like that, and then that's what you've got to drive around. It's kind of an experience. It makes everything more difficult, and that's sort of what our body is. If without a body, we're like that Lamborghini that's smooth and we can do anything we want as we want it. If we can, without the physical encumbrance, we can, think Paris and we'll be in Paris. We can think a field of dreams, and we're in that field of dreams. We should do a movie. I mentioned these movies. If you watch it the next week, because they've been a long time since I've watched them. You can do a book report or movie report next time. But if you've ever had a lucid dream, you're in a dream, but you're in a dream and you control the actions in the dream. That's much more like what it's like without the body. Our body, although it's a great gift, and it's really the reason why the light workers are here working, is because we want to rescue this body. If the earth has to transition in a what we would call a paranormal way, then we lose the ability to have a body. And so this body that allows us to touch and taste and kiss and hug and enjoy sex and messy experiences, that's what we're fighting to keep. It's a great gift. Outside the body, we have no physicality. So I can't taste. I can't experience love and passion the way I can in the body. So the body is an incredible gift, but it does change the experience.
We kind of had a personal conversation earlier, but someone said they had a dream with snakes last night. And I think that might be a nice thing to bring up, is talk about sleep and what's happening when we're sleeping.
Mhm.
Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of different things can happen when you're sleeping. I call it your sleep state, but it can be lots of different things. Your body is designed so that you have to plug in at night. If you go without sleep, literally you begin hallucinating. It changes you. It can also kill you. Sleep is extremely important. It's designed so that you have to plug in and recharge. Like your phone. If you don't plug in your phone at night, then you don't have a phone to use the next day. It has to be recharged. And your body recharges both physically. We know that we think we know. The brain is so complicated that we think we understand it, but as I say, if you really understood the brain, we would be so complicated we couldn't understand it, or something like that. But anyway, that we have glial cells. So the glial cells are the part that cushions between the neurons and stuff. And so they think that when we sleep, those glial cells feed the neurons. But in a spiritual sense, when we sleep, our soul reconnects with its leadership team, and that can be different for every person, but you literally stand accountable before your council, and the council directs, guides you, holds you accountable, sort of like your coaching team, but it's a very formal process. And it's why many people, when they do things they're not proud of, have a hard time sleeping. Well, they don't want to go face the music, literally. So that's one thing that happens. And then also right now on the planet, a lot of people are using, it's like they put down their body when they sleep, and then they go out and neutralize the evil on the planet. So we're also battling evil a lot in our dream state, neutralizing it. Whoever had the dream about snakes are also very much often represented as the reptilians, because the reptilians can take in different forms and take different shapes. And so if you're battling the snakes, that's often part of that. The dreams can also, that we have, can also take and prepare you for a decision, or have you review a decision that you've made, because the whole goal of life is about learning and growing. And so the dreams can give us lessons, give us awareness, give us premonitions. It can do all kinds of things that help you in your physical life. As we move through this physical world as light workers, you come to different places along the way where you earn the right to turn your energy up. We don't have examples for this, so I'm just making stuff up. But I had twin brothers that were on wrestling teams when they were in high school, and they were pretty much identical in weight, but they didn't want to wrestle each other. So one would always lose weight and one would gain weight. So they would fight, and they would wrestle in different classes. The classes were very important. All right. As you move through this experience, we are also changing classes. In the beginning, you were a class A, let's say. These are just arbitrary numbers, not to imply a value to them. But in the first class, you had so much energy, you had so much power, you had so much ability, you could do so many things. And then as you go through these tests, these experiences, and you're given opportunities to prove your worth, and then let's say you pass that test, then you move to class B, and you have a different level of energy, a different level of power, a different level of ability, a different level of skill set, of gifts that we call them. And then if you go through that, you'll go through a test, literally see how you're doing. Have you mastered those lessons? And then you go through another one. Level 4, there's 6 levels. Level 4 is unconditional love. But with each one of these, you go through tests. For me, and I don't know if everybody has the same kind, but for me, level 4 was what's called a simulation. It was in the dream state. For all practical purposes, it was a dream, except it was incredibly real. It had all the texture, it had all the smells and sights and sounds and the experiences. It had the physicality, it had the backstory. It was like you were put into a virtual reality for this period of time and for this experience. And then based how you do, you move on. And because when I was given this test, I'm going to share with my level 4 test. When I was being given this test, I didn't know anything about them. You go through the test blindside. But I was in this dream, and I was being gang raped by a group of ugly, like early 20-year-olds with dirty teeth. My big buggy-boo was dirty teeth. But in this dream, all I could think was, what in the world have these people gone through that makes them this depraved in such a few years? And so I was literally just overcome with compassion and understanding for these people who were brutally gang raping me at the time. And so in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I must be totally crazy. But it feels like a real experience. It does not feel like a dream. All right. So I wake up and I don't communicate when I'm emotionally distraught. So it took me a bit to calm down. And then I asked, what was that about? And they said, well, it was a simulation, that in this moment of victimhood, basically, how did I choose to react? And they said that I had reacted with such love that few people on the planet have ever done so well, that I was given an A+ on that test. It's like, oh, good for me. Then a while later, again, not knowing these are coming, but I now recognize them after the fact. I had a similar experience, another simulation, and this time I caught my husband in bed with an ugly woman who mistreated her children. And those are my buggy-boos. He could at least cheated on me with somebody pretty, but this was an ugly woman who misused her kids. And so And in this dream, I knew I could zap her to death. I knew I could zap her and that would be the end of it. I could zap him. And it was all I could do not to zap him. And so when I woke up, it's like, ooh, that was a test, I know. And so when I asked them, they said, yes, this was one where it wasn't my body that was being threatened. It was my possessions that I saw Bob as a possession. And so my possessions were being threatened. And they said, I passed the test because I didn't zap him, but I only got a C- on that test. And so I had to pass the test in order to get the next upload, the next level of skills and abilities. And so simulations can also go on during your sleep. I didn't need that experience in my real life, but I needed to see how I would behave in that experience. And so night times can be anything. We can go and do drills. We can go and do real combat. We can go back to our motherships and work on board. We can have symbolic dreams. We can have all kinds of things. I mean, there's just no limit to what we can experience when we dream. And you can ask for information. If you're having a challenge in life, when I go to sleep, I want to do that. And when I wake up in the morning, I want to have the answers to how I handle the situation. So I can ask for things, and then my brain, body, spirit connection will give me the answers. So it can be our sacred time for sleep is so important. And so many people treat it so insignificantly. It's like, oh, if I can stay up 4 hours or sleep 4 hours, that's good enough, or 3 hours. And it's up to your body. There were many, many years where my body only needed 3 or 4 hours sleep, and I would wake up naturally. That's the important thing, letting your body determine when it was awake and when it was sleeping. And it was during a period of when I was very, very prolific as far as writing. I did a lot more of the writing, and that's okay because I got what I needed in those hours of sleep. Now my body is wanting more sleep. So, I don't know the reason. I don't care. It's just my body's tired, so I sleep. Or my body doesn't need sleep, so I don't force myself to lay in bed complaining that I'm not sleeping. Just listen to your body and behave accordingly, but don't force your body to stay up. If your body is saying, I'm tired, I want to go to bed, listen to your body. And whatever the next question is, other people get to answer it too. Okay, anything else, Stacy? Okay, anybody else want to share comments or questions about what I've been saying? I love talking, by the way. You probably noticed that. I've spent 30 years gathering all these experiences, so it's wonderful to be able to share them.
Mafioso said he's a lot like your mom. So you.
I'll take that as a great compliment.
Me too.
Anybody else want to share? In your experiences, you've had similar things. You've had also great information.
Who?
Everybody.
Well, yeah, and I definitely see the dream time right now. Like I can feel it energetically, like you're doing work outside of your body. So I just love it. And my sleeping has been very different than my normal. And I just trust that that's what I'm supposed to be and where I'm supposed to be and how I'm supposed to do it. And so. Jen B asked about recurring dreams.
Jen B, would you be interested in sharing your recurring dream?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
So basically, yes. Should I start now?
Yes.
Okay, so basically I am like a little girl and I'm in the woods, and then really far away from me, I see like a little worn down white house, and I am walking towards it, but it feels like it's just getting further and further apart. And then the mud, it becomes like quicksand, and I'm almost drowned, and I almost like drown in the mud, and there was like a skeleton right next to me. And that's the dream I've been having so many times.
All right. And the reason why I wanted to feel the dream that you're talking about, because there can be lots of reasons for a recurring dream. they can come because there's something important you need to be aware of and you need to pay attention of and recognize. That deja vu feeling that we get periodically, we've done this before, is because we've practiced in our dream state, so that when it happens in real life, we know exactly what to do and how to do it. It can be an unresolved issue from another lifetime that we can't quite let go of, but so we re-experience it over and over again till we make sense and put it to rest. It used to be, when I first began my spiritual journey, there was a face, this big, beautiful face that would appear to me every night. Didn't talk, didn't say anything, but as I was going to just drifting off to sleep, I would see this face. It's like, who are you? What are you trying to tell me? But she would show up every night for months. And then finally, I was told who it was, and it was actually a past life experience. And then I was given more information, and then I don't want to say anything that's going to give it away, but literally I would begin to see her in situations. So it wasn't just her head anymore, but I would see her like in different situations doing different things. And then I was sent on a field trip to another part of the world. And as I was in this part of the world where her energy had been in real life, literally it just awakened all kinds of knowledge about this person who was a part of my soul experience and what it taught me and why it was important to me. But it took months, I would say at least 6 months, to unravel why this face and then this situation was exposed to me. And part of it was about forgiving myself. I had been in that lifetime, had been very beautiful, and I used my body to get what I wanted, shamelessly, except I carried the guilt from it after I left that lifetime. And so it was a lot about resolving and letting go, and then owning the power that she had during that lifetime, so I could also use that power in this lifetime. I get the feeling, and again, this is my feeling, Jennifer B., you need to investigate for yourself, but I get the feeling this is a past life for you too, that you had a very traumatic experience as this child, and you're needing to resolve it and put it to rest. And so I would just, in your wake state, and I'm big on journaling, you can write and connect with that consciousness of that girl and ask her questions in your writing. But I think this is a part of your soul experience, and that the terror, the fear, the helplessness that you felt in that lifetime has stayed with you, and you're now getting the opportunity of looking at it, addressing it, and putting that to bed. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So I would highly recommend, and ask this little girl part of you, what is she teaching you? Why she come to you? What do you need to learn from her? And as you ask questions, you'll get the answers. It's universal law. You have to, but you have to ask questions. If you make statements about it, nothing. But you have, as you ask questions, you'll get information.
Okay, thank you.
And Mafioso studied a recurring dream when he was a kid too, and it was always ended with him falling to his death in a horrible way, and then he always would wake up on the impact as he fell.
And see, that's a past life experience too, because it's the emotional trauma. It's like, oh crap. And so he's got to find a way to put it to peace in order to end the trauma. And the same thing with this little girl who probably was extremely traumatized and bewildered on her experiences. So you have to help her move through that emotion so that you can put it to sleep. But yeah, and it's like the anger that our little friend Jane Addams felt in doing her laundry in the White House and hanging them up in the East Room. And many people have seen her just trucking back in her little pissed off mood hanging laundry in the East room. So whatever you emotionally resist or traumatized by, there's a chance of getting locked into it for eternity. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Anybody else have dreams that and in a dream, every part of that dream is you, and you want to take and look at what each, like snakes work in our dreams and quicksand, taking and analyzing what each part means to you. A book may say snakes mean X, but what does it mean to you? Because it's your consciousness that's talking to you. So anybody else? My God, we're almost at 2 hours. It goes by so fast. Can't believe it's been almost 2 hours. Well, let's do quickie spirit sprinkles. And for those who haven't had a spirit sprinkle, when you're on the Zoom call, if you want. Okay, Sonia?
I'm not ready for sprinkles. I just have a question.
Okay.
Earlier, earlier you guys were talking about, or Stacy, you might have said that you were feeling a lot of pain. People have been feeling a lot of pain this week. Same for me. I mean, what is up with that? The last 2 days I've been in so much pain. I actually emailed my doctor and like asked him, what was going on with me. But why were people feeling pain?
Again, the universe is such that we don't have a simple answer for something that will fit everybody. Everybody has to look to see what's going on themselves. I have company coming in a couple days, and we've also had this huge snowstorm. So I've got about 1.5 feet of snow over everything. So I had to go out today and shovel off my drive so there's a room for another car. So my body went through a lot of work today in order to make room for a friend. Because I usually have street parking, but because of the winter storms, we're not allowed to park on the street for for snowplow reasons. But anyway, that's the reason why my body was a bit sore today. When you energetically go and work, like Stacy was talking about, doing the spiritual work in our dream state, you're still expending a lot of energy, and it can come back in and stir up stuff. So it could be from energetically spending a lot of energy out on behalf of the universe that your energy is, your muscles are sore, your joints are sore. Joints are also often representative of our thinking. And so if you're a rigid thinker, if you think this is the way it's got to be, and you've all met those people with blinders saying, this is the way it is, this is, don't even confuse me, it's this way. Your joints will also reflect that with rigidity. And so it could be that your soul is stirring up a lot of old rigid thinking. People who've been very dogmatic in religion can have a lot of rigid thinking. They're coming from an honorable place. They're not meaning to be rigid, but they bought, as they say, they've drank the Kool-Aid. And so they believe this, and therefore they have to release it in order to be open to greater truth. So it could be that. Would you do me a favor and I want you to, where was the most pain? Where was the most discomfort?
My left side of my back and all the way in through my groin. So I thought it was maybe like kidney infection or something, but
Okay, I want you just to think about what it felt like when you were there, because what happened is I can follow your energy in to that port experience. And so I want you to think about what it felt like when you were having that discomfort, and let me just play in it for a minute, if that's okay.
Should I speak about it?
No, you just think it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, think about it.
Because it's your thoughts, so that means your energy and your. Did anything else new this week come up for you? Did any other experience or lessons? Because I feel like it's a current experience that's bubbling up, a past trauma that you haven't released. That there was so did you have any kind of new experience this week, or new something that awoke something?
No. Since the last time I was on, when I was crying, I was super depressed, and but since then I'm on my 15th day of meditation, and my meditations are becoming more like deeper.
Okay, well, okay. As you're meditating every day, which is a very honorable practice, what happens is you're raising your vibration, so that anything that's keeping you anchored to a lower vibration has to come to your awareness so you can release it.
Okay.
And it is a good idea. If you have physical stuff, don't not check it out if you feel the
Sure,
need to go to a
sure.
doctor, because a lot of these places where this disharmony, this knot of old logged, blocked energy can become a cancer or a disease or an organ that's problematic. So it is, if you feel the need to check with the doctor, check with the doctor. That's never a bad
I mean,
thing.
I feel fine today. It's crazy. It
Well,
went away.
what's happening is you're being made to be aware of this injury. I mean, it's almost like a spear sticking in your back, in your hip area, like going through your hip and down through your genitals.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, and so what I would say is just imagine looking at the person who threw the spear and telling him, and I do feel it was a him, that you love him and that you forgive him and you forgive yourself for also throwing spears to harm others. That it was, during that time where spears were like the way to go. And so you hurt others and they hurt you, because that's the way karma works. And so this is an old energy that you haven't resolved. You're still carrying. So I would recommend that you take a nice hot bath with as much, a cup or two of Epsom salt, which acts as a poultice. And then literally while you're in that bath, maybe a few drops of lavender oil, while you're in that bath, just imagine drinking down this incredible, pure love lava and having it go through your body and heal that space where that injury occurred, and then blessing it and letting go. You hold on. You're good at holding on. You hold on to emotions. You hold on to all kinds of stuff. Now it's the time to learn to let go. And that's the most important lesson you can get from this injury, is just learning to let it go, and not hold on to it. And in every aspect of your life, just let go. That's your motto for at least the next 30 days. I love and I let go. I love and I let go. I love and I let go.
That was my meditation mantra just yesterday.
Well, and see, that's why things are coming up that you've been holding on to. You can't let it go if you don't acknowledge its presence. I'm fascinated by that show, The Foreigners, and there's a British version that's even funnier. But in one episode, the guy who's working with them made the person living in the hoard take pictures of it, because he'd gotten so good at blocking it out and not recognize it, not seeing it, that he was literally being instructed to take pictures. And he said until he was taking the pictures, that hoard wasn't real to him. He didn't see it. He couldn't deal or heal his hoarding tendencies until he acknowledged its presence. And that's sort of why a lot of stuff is coming up for light workers now. It's because we have to acknowledge the presence in order to let go. Aren't you glad I have this well-versed life, that I have all these analogies? That's why I watch Hoard and all these things. So thank you for that, Sonia.
And
I'm sure.
Sonia, Mafioso asks if you have any kind of memory with a man and a woman and some kind of yellow ball.
Asking Sonia.
Do you remember anything with a man and a woman in a yellow ball?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, a man and a woman in a yellow ball. No. In a dream?
I don't know. He just said to ask you that. That's when you were talking. That's the insight he was seeing.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And just
Thank
play
you.
with it. If you're meant to know something about it, it'll pop up. We don't have to work at digging these memories out of our brain. We just have to be open to recognize what's popping up in our world. As I said, I use my illustration. I love illustrations. When we are dealing with this lesson, we our tissue is our issue. And then when we put it away, we still have another one there. And then we pull it up and there's another one there. I don't need to force myself to dig down here at the bottom of the box and find the issue I need to do, because the universe will give me my issue as I'm ready for it. And so just be open at what's coming up for you today, and love it and let it go. It's as easy as that. And now I have 2 Kleenexes that I pulled out that I don't need. Okay. Anybody else?
Somebody said something about things going slow, and I feel that things are going fast. Like January went so fast. I don't even, remember how fast it went.
Well, remember I said a long time ago that this is not, well, the Bible talks about the end times. This is not the end of life or the end of creation or the end of humanity. It is the end of time.
Okay.
And the reason why it's the end of time, and we are literally living in the end times, is because time, which was a constant developed by a bunch of men sitting around a table saying, this is the way time's going to work, because we needed a way to measure, to talk about, to look at past, present, and future. But in this moment in time, we no longer have a consistent unit called time. For some people, time will speed up. For some people, time will slow down. As people move into their power, they'll be able to manipulate time. They can make time stand still. They can jump timelines. That we're learning how to deal with time in a whole new way. So we can't use time as that constant as it once was. And that's really what's happening. Your time and someone else's time will be very different. What may seem like an eternity for one will be a blink of the eye for another. Welcome to the end times.
Okay, well, that explains it and helps a lot. And there was something else I was going to say about that, but I understand completely what you're saying. And if I remember, if I don't, like you said, I got to write it down.
And it's part of that, as we learn how to manipulate our energetic core. I mean, right now we're learning how to raise it. I know how to, you also know how to lower it, and as we learn how to manipulate our vibration, our frequency, it gives us different experiences and different realities. Eventually, as we learn to raise it high enough, we'll be able to raise our vibration. So now we're going so fast that I won't be visible to someone going slower. It'll be like those fan blades or airplane propellers. I will disappear within your perception because I'll be traveling so fast you can't see me. And then as I raise my vibration, I can think Paris. And then my energy will just be in Paris because your thoughts become manifest immediately at the higher vibration. You'll manifest immediately. And when you're in Paris, you can go, and lower your vibration. And voila, you're in Paris. You won't need a plane ticket. You won't need to pack your bags. All you'll need to do is be able to be master of your own energetic field. And that's what we're working on now. We're learning how to raise it in increments because that's what our physical body needs. But we're learning how to raise it and then lower it at will. And as we do that, we'll be able to jump space as well as time. I'll be able to go, because everything is happening simultaneously, I'll be able to raise my vibration and go to another time unit, another place on the planet, another timeline. As I've said, the movie Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is the best movie talking about how time works. And so I do recommend that movie. It's fun, it's entertaining, and it's a good sort of, oh, how it works. And they use a phone booth to go through different time loops, but it's an interesting concept.
There's 2 more questions. And then Christina, New Jersey said, will the majority of people be able to do this?
Their choice. To shift the consciousness of the planet, we only need about 8 to 10%. So when 8 to 10% of the people can do it, then we'll tip the consciousness scale for the planet. But remember, we're also going to be losing a lot of people who are choosing to stay in third dimensional, judgment, hate, violence, those kind of things. They'll go to their own other planet that is being prepared, that looks and acts like Earth, except it's been prepared for a lower density. Earth was never prepared for the density that humanity has taken it, which is why we're here to rescue it. Read my book, Many Were Called, the story of Mother Earth and your Earth-based volunteers. Did you tell Mofioso how much it costs to send books to Slovenia? Okay. Yes. So, but this is the time where so many things are shifting, so many realities are going to be challenged, and you just have to let go. I literally have dreams, lots and lots of dreams of me in these huge auditoriums teaching people how to fly, not with a plane, not with a parachute, but literally how to fly. So I can't wait for that. I know. So
in the comments, it said last night or on the FaceTime, they saw multiple yellow circles. So like a yellow dot with circles around it, like a ripple effect behind her. It didn't matter where or what direction, but you kept seeing these circles. You know what that might be?
no, yellow energy and jet, every color has a vibration and has an impact. It affects our perception in different ways. Yellow is one of the colors that makes time go by faster. And so it could have been some sort of manipulation of time, but I really don't know.
It's wild.
Is this like with the time? Is it like a another psychic ability to go forward or slow, or it's just how it is?
Well, what happens is, I'll say it again. For some who've been a lot of calls, is going to go, I've heard that before. But if you imagine a tree, where the tree goes deep into the earth, anchoring the energy of the planet, and then it goes up and has lots of branches that go off in different directions. And so our journey is climbing that tree. That's our spiritual journey. And if we think about that as a vibrational attainment, that every time we go up, our vibration shifts, and then we get exposed to different things. We see the world in different ways. We have a different perspective on things. But as we go up, each branch is a different gift, what you call them, psychic skills or just natural abilities, but we are exposed to another gift. Let's say the first one is healing with energy. And then we have one that's talking to dead people. And then we have one that's psychic awareness or whatever. As we go up, we get exposed to all these different abilities. A lot of people get off into a branch and they hang out their shingle. I'm an energetic healer, and I'm just sitting on this branch healing people like crazy. And that's great, except you lock yourself into that one skill. As you continue to climb, you get more and more and more gifts until eventually you hit the top of the tree and you have them all. Mm-hmm. And so it's not that we are one thing or we can only be one thing. Our goal is to be everything. And so when people ask me, well, what are you? It's like, whatever, I'm Heather. Like, but are you a medium? Are you a psychic? Or are you I don't label myself. I'm just Heather. I don't own any of those, because to label is to limit. And it's why on several times I've corrected Stacy with my loving heart, saying, I only do private sessions. What comes through is based on what that person needs or wants from the spiritual levels. And I don't label what I do a reading, because we have a lot of connotation in what a reading is. And
Mhm.
so they're not any more psychic gifts than breathing or eating. There are natural abilities that we're just being exposed to again. And it's all of them. We are all of those. And as you raise your vibration, you raise your place on that tree that gives you all these abilities. And
Okay.
your vibration is a product of what you eat, what you think, what you do, who you expose yourself to, who you hang with. It's not just your meditation or your psychic, your spiritual beliefs. It's everything affects the physical body, because it's the physical body that has to carry the vibration. It's not your spirit, it's your body. So your the wellness and the balance of your body is what determines your cap. So the better and more refined my body is, the higher I can climb.
Now, I'm sorry that I'm just going on, but now during this time, we're also ascending into different dimensions. or
That
no?
is the ascension. That is
That
the
is,
ascension.
okay.
That's the vibration. Okay. Again, lots of people use lots of terms and they have their own meaning. When you hear me
Okay.
define something, this is what it is to me. And you got to
Okay.
decide what it is for you. But as we move up, we accelerate our vibration. It spins faster. We need less cells to give us the illusion of physicality. So therefore we become less dense. We no longer need 100 cells to look solid. We can do it now with 60 cells. So we become lighter, not as in glow like a G light bulb, but we become lighter as in the opposite of dense. And as the density shifts and we become lighter, then we see things differently. As we see things differently, we begin to reside in different dimensions. Dimensions are a factor of our vibrational state of existence. At third dimensional density, everything that's real is defined by your five senses. I can see it, touch it, feel it, taste it, hear it. That's real. But as we move up into a fourth dimensional density, then that is the search. It's like, oh shit, it's not just physical. There's a whole lot beyond physical. Oh my goodness. So in the fourth dimension, it's when you open yourself up to recognize there's more to this world than what we've been fed. There's more to my existence than what we've been told, that we begin to go into this fourth dimensional search state. Clairsentient, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairgusient. It's the beyond physicality. And then as we continue the search, we get to the fifth dimension, which is the place this planet will reside in when we finish our transformation. Fifth dimension is, oh my gosh, I got it. I understand it now that we're all one. And that recognition that they're all one. We're all one with the divine. We're all one with each other, that what I do affects you and what you do affects me. That is the state of oneness. And love, that vibration of love, is what holds us together. And that's where we're going. But it's the vibration affects our frequency affects our density affects our dimension. And with that, Stacy, cue dimension book.
It is Dimensions and the Awakening of Divine Consciousness. And funny enough, my phone has never done this, but it froze off of Instagram. Said it got too hot. So another technical Mercury retrograde, which I just
It's all perfect. And as we go through these vibrational shifts, different things happen to our mind, happen to our body, happens to our consciousness, happens to our perception. And the book talks about those, because as we're moving into a less dense world, we're literally losing our old mind. Memory is ending. It's not a product of senility. It's not a product of your age. It's because the mind is changing. It no longer holds on to the past. We're now what I've lovingly called Googleizing our mind. I want something, I just tell my mind what I want, it gives it to me. Just like Google. I don't have to remember everything that's in Google. I just have to push the right button to get my answer. And that's so everything about our mind and our bodies are shifting in that process. Now, no more questions for you, Josie. It's other people's turn.
I just said one more.
Okay, one more and then no more.
All right, now I got to choose between two.
One more.
So, as we ascend, then you said our bodies and minds are going to change, but we will slowly like lose our bodies.
No,
And we'll always have
our
these
body,
bodies.
our body. Well, for this
Well,
lifetime, we'll have
yeah,
this body
okay.
till we die. Then
Right,
we lose the
okay.
body.
All right.
But in a bigger scheme of things, how it functions in the future may alter.
Okay.
But your body is becoming more translucent with the less density. What your body wants to eat is shifting. I mean, you may have noticed that your diet is changing. What you drink,
Definitely.
how you react to things. You may have been able to have, a soda pop in the past, and now you have one and you're throwing up. Because your body, as it vibrationally shifts, has a different reaction to toxicity. You may not be able to eat grains the same way. You may not be able to eat processed foods without having a reaction. You may be, have something and all of a sudden you got a headache now. That's something you could have done 5 years ago or 10 years ago or a year ago. You can't do now because the body is changing.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's happened to me already. Yeah.
Good.
About the food and yeah.
Good. Because that's what we're on. And that's why these calls are important, just to reassure that everything is divinely perfect. What we've been programmed to believe is not the reality. The outer world is not going to give us the answers. It's the inner world. We have to begin to trust ourselves and ask ourselves the question, and then trust whatever answer we get and take action on it. That's the important thing, is that internal process. Stacy, anything out there in the online community?
Wow, I just got back on Instagram and I'm just amused with Mercury retrograde like technology stuff today. It's funny.
Yeah. Someone just wrote the 2 McDonald's French fries and my tongue was on fire for 2 weeks, and that's not unusual. Congratulations, you're evolving.
It's interesting when I eat. I can't do partially hydrogenated oils for that reason, because it has this weird thing on my tongue, and so I think it's important to ask your body
and trust yourself. I mean, if your body doesn't want it, don't force it.
Well, no,
body wants to sleep it.
That's with meat. I think that's how you started. It started making you really sick when you became vegetarian. That meat would make you physically ill. And then I realized I didn't have to eat meat because you weren't eating meat. And then I became a vegetarian. And now if I eat any kind of meat in accident, it makes me really sick. So you just have to
if someone has a soup, they say, oh, this is a vegetarian soup, but it's got a meat base, like chicken broth in it. I can feel it when it hits my mouth. It's like, it's not, it's got meat. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's the journey. Thank you, Trina. She says she has to leave. So goodbye, Trina.
Bye, Trina.
Are you going to do spring?
Well, now we're 2.5 hours. So I think I'll just answer another question. And then next week, would some of you timekeepers watch at 7:30? We want to stop answering questions, and we'll just do spirit sprinkles next week.
What? Okay. So 5:30. Pacific time. And then
Well, 7:30 Central, because it's my time I'm talking about. An hour and a half in, we stop with the questions and conversation, and we go to Spirit Sprinkles, which is just sort of individual messages.
go
So
back to my first question, which is reading for the collective and the energy of.
I don't feel doing that is something I want to do, because everything, it's like, if you've ever played that game of pick up sticks, it's easy to read the collective when they're all going in the same direction. But right now we have so many different conflicting energies and so many things going in different ways that it's, what I'm say maybe for this stick won't be true for this stick. Do you all know that game, pick up sticks?
Yeah.
Where you see, you're old though, Josie. Younger people may not know it.
Wait a minute.
But you take a bunch of sticks and you sort of throw them, drop them, and they go in different directions, and then you have to use this other thing to pick them up without making any other stick move. It was part of our old
Love
background.
that game.
Who has it?
I love that game. It's one of
Oh,
my
you
favorite
love-
games.
do you
Really
have it?
Good at,
You can do a
my niece
demonstration.
does.
Oh,
My niece
next-
does.
you can do a demonstration next week, because these examples are in my background, but it may not be in everybody's, because we do have people in several different continents on the call. They may not have pick up sticks. Anyway, so we'll do 5 more minutes of questions and then we'll close it off. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Any experiences? Anything? The most powerful lesson I can leave you with is just trust what's going on in your life. And if something's happening and you're not quite understanding it, ask questions, ask yourself questions, and you will get the answers. It's a very powerful time for clarity, for wisdom, and trusting that what's going on is for the highest and best good, if that's what you ask for. Again, you have to ask for highest and best good and the highest and best good of all concerned. Anything you want to ask my Stacy?
Why? I mean, I already have.
You what?
I already have.
Okay. All right, Josie, it looks like nobody else has got a question. So if you want to ask a question, you're welcome for one more. You said there was 2.
Okay, I should wrote it down. Had something to do with the dimensions.
Okay. Well, as
I
I'm
can't
going-
really remember.
I'm sorry, what?
I can't really remember. But
Okay, well, that's
I
good.
have a
Don't
book that
don't
will
fake it. And
everything.
if any of you are reading my books and you have questions about the content, please let me know. That's fine.
I would
Because
like- Go ahead.
and then again, next Tuesday, we're doing the UFOs and aliens and light workers, and sort of going through that orientation, what's going on in Hawaii. And it sounds crazy. If you want to, if you want to attend it, just recognize it's going to sound crazy, but it's absolutely the truth of my beingness. And if you have questions that you want me to address next Tuesday, just send them to me.
And then
What?
to recap, Sunday is Spirituality Meets Politics. It's a really nice in-depth. We do a little bit live, and then we go to the private room for our actually what I call the juicy conversation that we can't put elsewhere because of,
People are listening.
well, no, because they take you down, or
Right.
so we're not free speech at the moment. So if you want to actually be in the conversation, you have to join us live on Zoom. And then this, again, if you're joining us for the first time, we do this every Thursday, the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern for our Thursday Cosmic Conversations, for our Sunday Spirituality Meets Politics. And then this Tuesday is a special masterclass that Dr. Harder is teaching, and it is all things alien. So if you want to know more about our cosmic cousins, this is the place to learn and ask questions, as well as get an energetic clearing of any kind of alien implants or energy drainings, and also devices from your fields. So it's a great way to learn how to clear And also, if you want to get on the email list, go to Heather at heatherharder.com. My website is stacyharder.com. Heather is heatherharder.com. I've been having some tech issues today, so a little unsure, but the nice thing is if you do want to ever join, feel free to join us on Zoom. Our Zoom is the same every week. So you can always join us on the Zoom if you can't find us on YouTube or on Instagram Live. Wherever you are, thank you so much for joining. The one thing I would like to add, I think for me, because I find I get to experience a lot of stuff, if you haven't already, the next few days is probably going to be super, super intense as far as just shifting and changes and things that you're just like, okay, that changes everything. So I literally have been calling in my highest timeline and how can I be of service? What can I do? And so for 3 weeks prior, I've had so much anxiety if I know there's this huge shift, but I don't even know what it is. And I kept asking my mom, like, I know there's a shift coming. I can feel it, but I don't know what it is. I don't know how to prep for it or prepare for it, which is that part of my Capricorn mind that likes to be prepared. So what my experience is yes, if you want to cry, let it cry, but keep going into, well, this or something better. Then I know whatever is going to unfold, even though I have no idea what that looks like, it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be wonderful. And just to trust, even though it's, I mean, a little emotional, a little scary, a little exciting. It's a little of everything, but just know that there's no accidents and trust.
What I would say is it's like, if you've ever been dumped into an ocean, the more you fight it, the more likely you are to drown. The best is just surrender to it, just float. And so many people have survived by just floating. And so in this energy that we're getting and these experiences we're getting, just surrender. I understand it. It's fun. I love it. This is a day that God has made. Rejoice, be glad. And just go with the flow. I mean, those are powerful words. Relax and let go. And
I didn't hear you mention about the Monday night classes in February.
Well, I've got a couple people who've signed up for private. They're doing
Okay.
private coaching for the month. I haven't had anybody sign up for the group coaching.
Okay, well, I was going to sign up.
Well,
Well,
and
if you sign up, then we'll have the Monday night classes. But if no one signs up, then there's no class.
Okay.
I also,
But I've got a couple of people who are going with private sessions for that.
Right, yeah.
and there's also some scheduling issues with a few people. So I was thinking you should move it to Sundays.
Well, there's nobody to move.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I think putting it out there, we could do Saturday. Let us know if you want to do the 4-week program with Mom on Spirit Sprinkles. It's kind of, I put on crack, but that's probably not the best words. Spirit Sprinkles.
I'd say it's private coaching because everybody is going through different places in their life. So it can be physical. It can be professional or personal or spiritual. And so it's really just based on what's going on in your life and then everybody moving through it. And what I find is that when you do a group class, that everybody learns from everybody else. And so it's divinely perfect.
Yeah, so I think that.
And if no one needs it, then that's divinely perfect too.
Well, no, but I think that time-wise, I think this is my personal opinion, it'll either be Saturdays at 4 p.m.
All right, stop for a second. Josie, since you're the only one that said that you're thinking about taking it, does Sunday or Monday work better for you?
Saturday, Sunday, or Monday?
Probably Monday.
I'm not doing Saturday. Sunday or Monday?
Probably Sunday.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, really. It doesn't. Whatever better for you. I can manage either one.
So if you're thinking about taking the 4 weeks of coaching with Heather, if you like Spirit Sprinkles, and I highly recommend it, let us know if Saturday, Sunday, or Monday works better. If it's Sunday, it would be at 12 noon.
Stop, Stacey. We're not giving people an option. Josie said she's taking things. She said Sunday would be better for her. We're just making it Sunday. And if anybody else wants to take the class, they now know it's Sunday. Okay.
There's other
I-
actually already talked about the timing thing. So I was trying to be inclusive, but you can do it your way because it's your stuff. So
Thank you. Well, they haven't talked to me about anything, so I don't know who they are. I've got private people. All right. So with that, we send you great love and great light, and it's going to be a special week. Pay attention to everything that's going on, and Laura, I did get your money for the workshop. Thank you very much. And if anybody else would like information, feel free to call me. I do have 2 mailing lists going. I've got my main email list, which is through my website, heather@heatherharder.com. And then I've got a second email list for the people who attend these calls, and it's just the people who've been on the calls. And so if you send me your email, I will put you on my email for our little chat group. So thank you very much. And thank you, Stacy, for being patient and tolerant and handling all the crisis of the technology tonight so well.
I'm a little annoyed at the moment, but
I can tell. That's why we're all sending you lots of love and light. Okay. All right. Take care. I'll see you next week, 6 o'clock for our Thursday night. Alicia, you want to say anything? You've been quiet tonight.
Nope, I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good. I'm working through it, whatever it is.
Okay. Here you go. Ellie, you didn't say anything tonight. You want to say anything? Mayfer, you didn't say anything. You want to say anything?
Naper had a question in there earlier, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, I don't read the little things because I'm not good at doing the 2 things at one time. Is the iPhone, Christina?
I mean, I'm guessing it is, but
Yes, it's me. Hi.
Hi, welcome, welcome. Anything you want to say?
No, I was waiting for Stacy's Instagram to pop up that you were going live and I didn't see it. So that's why and I was bummed.
it's been a Mercury retrograde for me. And so I had no internet and I wasn't able to, and I was on tech support for over an hour through the cable company. It's just a lot. So I couldn't.
No, it's okay, love. It's totally okay. I should have jumped on Zoom. That's my fault, but
What you do? I'm seeing you.
I went to the dentist. I'm in so much pain.
Pain is a resistance. Teeth represent decisions. So just allow yourself to be in perfect flow with your decision-making process, the choices that you make, and move into that experience, move into that tooth situation and tell it how much you love it.
I was doing that. And when I popped on, you were talking. First of all, I'm holding a yellow thing. And last night I had a dream. I was in a bright yellow dress. So I came in and you were talking about the yellow. And you started talking about how to love all the situations with your body that you're going through. And I'm not mad at it. I'm loving it. It is what it is. It's okay.
There you go. Yellow's a powerful color. So anyway, love you all.
Because pain came up, someone asked about what does pain in the breast mean?
All pain is the result of resistance, whether it's emotional pain, resisting something emotionally, or physical pain, resisting something physically. Breasts for women, I assume, is this a man or woman?
Woman.
Okay, breasts for women is about joy of life. And so the more you nurture yourself, give yourself permission and to literally be in pleasure, to be in joy, would be the way you nurture your breasts. if you have pain in the breast, it's because you're resisting that process. Many women who experience breast cancer, it's because they have lived a very unhappy life in some way, either continuing to beat themselves up over trauma or situations. And so it's just letting joy take over. In fact, that's good for everybody and everything. Joy, 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 joy. Joy, 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 joy.
One of the things that they do in Taoism, if you don't know Tao, Mantak Chia has, I think, over 30 some books around all of this. But one of the practices they do is like, oh, love, happy, happy. And you send it into parts, and he has a specific one for your breasts. Like, oh, I love you. Yeah, happy. And you literally send smiles into your organs. And then you'll do like your kidneys and your different things. And so it's, to me, like, that's another thing I like to do is just, if you're feeling that, start to go in like, oh my God, I appreciate you so much. I didn't realize how much I appreciate just using my mouth and being able to talk. And like, it allows you to, from my pain experience, to dive deeper into the gratitude and appreciation of what you do have. So it's, to me, in my experience, I found a lot of it's like, pay attention. Don't you appreciate your spine? Don't you appreciate walking? Like, and it's, you don't, you forget. So it sometimes is there just banging on your door to be like, hey, get out of that. Appreciate, look. So that was one thing I found. But again, only you know the answers deep down.
Well, it's a good idea all the time just to be appreciative of every aspect of you and your life. Also with joy. So if you feel like giving your breasts a happy time tonight, then feel free to do that. I'm glad I'm not teaching that at this workshop.
Well, I'm not going into a lot of the details about it, but yes, there's more details I could go into, but we'll keep it.
Okay. All right. Then I assume that there's nothing else, and we're going to say I love you to all of you, and I thank you for spending your Thursday night with me, and I will look forward to the next time we come together. And until then.
Sunday too.
Sunday is the political. If you need the number, let me know. I should have put it in the email. If I don't have your email address, make sure you email it to me or put it in the chat if you're online. Even our friend out in the Slovenia, I can put him on our list so he gets notices stuff. And then what else? Tuesday's workshop, the coaching on Sunday now, and that's all. Love you all.
Yes.
Contact Stacy or me if you have questions.
Love, light, and joy.
Yay! I'm answering another question outside of this on the live, so just let you know. P.S. Mafioso, thank you. It's a yes, and they already said thank you. So bless.
Okay. So tell Mafioso to send us his email address so I can put him on my list.
Oh yeah, Mafioso. Will you send us your email if you'd like, so Mom can send you a message? And I think
anybody who did not receive my email today, it's because they're not on my list for my local conversations. So if you send it to me, I'll put you on the list.
We got Mayfer in there, and I think Laura already added hers in the list as well for Mom to check on copy. And then yes, she said yes, so it's all perfect. So thank you so much. She said that's so sweet and kind of you. I don't know, I threw in kind, but it feels like a word.
No, so much, so much.
Yeah.
So.
I want a cupcake that looks like this. I love your cupcake.
What cupcake?
Well, it looks like an aerial view of a cupcake. She said it was some design. That it isn't a cupcake in real life. It's some kind of design, a sacred symbol, but it looks like a cupcake to me, and it makes me want a cupcake.
Me too.
Always cupcakes.
Yeah.
So, all right. Blessed week. If I can be of service, let me know. Love and light.
All right. Good night.
Dreams.
Oh.